I don't want you to take me to the beginning, but at the moment where you knew film was going to be your avenue.
Crash.
Crash.
Paul Hagen's Crash.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw that film, I don't know. I'd seen a lot of films prior to that, but there was no film that made me feel what that film made me feel, which was like, yo, they let somebody write this. They let somebody, it was characters real in a way that I hadn't seen or heard before, and that for me was just like revelatory. And obviously, John Singleton is his films, Boys in the Hood, Higher Learning, were pivotal films, but
Absolutely.
they didn't make me want to write. Crash made me want to write. And then seeing you guys, you and B, do what you guys were doing, made me want to be a filmmaker. So I didn't know, because I didn't know what was going to be.
You had already started. You was on your way.
No, but
I'll take it though.
But I wasn't doing it. You guys were doing it.
I'll take it though.
And you guys were doing it at a high clip. Like, you know what I mean? It was. I did it out of like necessity and like curiosity, but I didn't want to be a filmmaker from the beginning. It was like I only wanted to write.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
So it was Crash.
Well, you a filmmaker.
You're a filmmaker.
Yeah.
Thank God.
You're here now.
You're a filmmaker. What was for you when it came to modeling? Like, what was that moment, that spot that you knew you wanted to get in entertainment, especially coming from a reservation? I don't know if that's like a thing that they support or how does that work?
So, for me, I stumbled upon it. I didn't want to do it for a long time. Everyone would be like, you should model. And I'm like, I would never do that. I don't care. That's not me. And I started taking pictures at home, really. And then people was just reaching out to me. So my goal really wasn't to model. My goal was really just to like help others. Because I kept getting a lot of jobs from people just reaching out to me through Instagram, literally. And then in Rhode Island, I was like, I want to help people because I never had to pay. I always got paid, but I know people were paying to have shoots. Mm-hmm. So I put together events and did model meetups and help people build their portfolio. Okay. And that opened the door for more opportunities.
Yeah, we used to, one of our homegirls used to do that with us. Model meetups. Those are dope.
But yeah, it wasn't the goal originally. It was just like, I was like, I enjoy this. This is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. Same.
For me, it was similarly in the same realm where like that wasn't intentional with it, but I did it in a sense of a challenge for my own self-development. So that was pretty much where I knew that I had some type of creative outlet that I needed to express, but I just didn't have a way to, or, when you're thinking about typical things like singing and dancing, or like, things that are more on the broader scale, I was like, well, there's not something that's really calling to me internally to do that. But then it was like, okay, well, I'm not confident in front of the camera. I don't really like sense that. So let me just do it for myself. But then it just kind of escalated into something that was a confirmation internally that there was something bigger than I was expecting. And I just really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed being in that creative sphere. And it's not just about being in front of the camera or like developing that confidence, but it's just being with a creative team. Me being able to meet designers, photographers, different type of artists that are a bigger part of like myself, and that I get to be a part of a project and a team and a tribe. And so that was just kind of infiltrating into what made me feel best in like my creative outlets, and that led me to do other things. Now I'm doing dancing, now I'm going to be doing more social media work, and now I'm going to be like doing a talk show. So it's like all those things like are encapsulating into what I can do in order to feel my best self, but it's for the community at the end of the day, and what we can do in order to uplift artists and speak into who they truly are, not only in their identity but how we can contribute to the collective. So that's kind of where
come on PR training. God damn. Come on here now.
Gotta go.
Olivia Pope.
Yeah.
No
PR training needed.
I want to ask you though.
He said I need to
So you saw Crash. It inspired you to want to be a writer, and then but where did you go from there? Like, how did you even know where to start, or like what to do? Like, what was the next thing that you?
Because a lot of people don't know how to start.
Did you know that you had stories inside of your brain already working, and it was just like, oh, I want to try to do what I see that they just did with that film. Like, what was next after you saw that movie?
I worked for Magic Johnson for a few years.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
So that was great, and at the same time, it was so great that I kind of ran from the writing because I'm working for one of my childhood idols, legends. I grew up in Inglewood. The Forum is in my backyard.
Okay.
I graduated from high school at the Forum. You know what I mean? So it's like when I went to work for him, it was amazing. You know, you get to see the entrepreneurial spirit. You get to see what this man's work ethic is, and so I kind of fell in love with that. And then I got fired. Fired is a strong
from
word.
Magic
I got laid off because
Okay.
it was during 2000, whenever the bubble crashed in like 2010 or something like that. And so I was in that layoff group, and then I had no choice. It was like I saw him on TNT one day, and he was smiling and everything. It pissed me off, and I was like, man, he's doing what he loves. And then it's like I heard something say to me, like, what about you? And I wrote that my first script was called A Dream Deferred about this kid who discovers his love of writing in the third year of college, but his mother wants him to be a doctor. And so he's kind of vacillating between, vocation and what he should do to make money and be safe and all that other kind of stuff. And so I wrote that script, and then I applied to CSUN, got accepted there, and the rest is history, man. I mean, I'm not a huge advocate of make sure I say this right.
No, go ahead on. You gotta be politically correct.
You about to talk about school.
Yeah,
I already know. Okay.
I mean,
About going to school, about an advocate for
Film
like,
school or writing school.
yeah, I mean, because in film school, I mean, I got my master's in screenwriting, but it did, what it did for me was it introduced me to films I would have never.
which is a plus,
Yeah, I mean that is, you know what I mean. It opened my.
but that still costs a lot of money just to see some
Hell
films.
yeah, and now Trump trying to get all the money back.
You gotta take
But anyway, you know what I mean. But it's like it opened my palette, expanded my palette, and it gave me 100 more ways to tell the story that I was only able to see like this. Once I saw The Seventh Seal, I was like, oh man, it was deep for me. You know what I mean? And so then that expanded. Then it went to Fellini and Bergman and Oscar Micheaux, and you start watching these films, and then you realize like, that's why it's important to travel, because you get limited. You know what I mean, by what you see, and that has its advantages in some ways because it creates voice and authenticity. But you want to expand that, and I think that's what grad school did for me, and so after I graduated from there, it was like I got to fly, So I got a job working as a barber.
You knew how to cut already. You learned just.
No, I learned.
Okay, you turned into a great one.
I appreciate that. It was necessary. Like in my mind, it was like I can't have a corporate job because I'm too dedicated. I won't leave the work at work. I'll bring the work home. Or
Do you feel like all artists? Do we all kind of feel like that? Like as corporate is tough when you're trying to pursue, quote unquote your dreams or the avenue that you're here to take.
I think so. I mean, because it requires. I mean, you're giving 8 hours away.
Yeah.
More than that, sometimes. You know
more
what I'm
than
saying?
that,
Like you said, you have to take it home a lot.
And I think culturally and socially, it's not as acceptable to go that route. People admire it. People, wish that they could go down that route. But I mean, when we're talking in the lenses of, your own family and how, your own family maybe wants to view you or how everyone else did it, then, have to breaking, that baggage and having to take a chance, not only on yourself, but things that are outside of your control. That's the most scariest part is, being able to take that leap of faith and being able to stick with it, whatever your idea of success means.
It's tough.
That success word has been a big one, especially because Anthony Mackie said what he said about success.
What did he say? Give it to me.
Well, he said success isn't earned; it's given. And I don't agree.
You don't agree?
No, I get the premise of why he's saying.
Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense. I have to hear the rest of that conversation to
I
understand.
remember him saying that.
Yeah, he was talking about how he's seen a lot of people come up, and it's not until somebody chooses you that you.
Which is, I mean, a lot of times nowadays we are seeing it. We are seeing people get selected, and it's like it's your time now, or get put on, over individuals who probably have more talent, and who have the means to really be doing something better than most. So I see what he's saying, because we kind of sit back some days and be like, what the hell? How did?
Yeah, see, I can't focus on that person. I don't believe in pie. Like I don't believe in slices of pie. There is no pie.
But I think that like it depends on what your view of success is too.
Bingo. Yes.
Because a lot of people in this world like can't, not everyone, but a good majority associate success with your material wealth and your traveling, your image, when realistically, if you really break it down, is that successful? Does that really mean that you're successful? Because you can have all of these riches and be the most miserable, lonely person in the world. Is that real success?
Almost success for you means being better than yourself was yesterday.
Yeah, man. It again. It's like it's purpose driven for me. Like I feel like I was put here to serve. And when I go home, I'm here to serve my family. Right now I'm here to serve this mission that you guys are on with this incredible podcast that you have. When I'm by myself and it's after midnight and I'm writing on the page, it's in service of the craft. So for me, and all of that is connected to people.
Absolutely.
It's not connected to me. And I think that success for most people is me. And I can't, the whole pick you thing, I believe in a higher power. I believe in God. I was already chosen, even if they don't know it yet.
Yeah.
So So I can't really, the whole success thing, somebody choosing you, it don't really make sense to me. Yeah, some people don't make it to the league, but there's purpose in that. The decision, the question is, does that athlete person do the work to find out what the purpose is in that journey that they've been on and how it serves people? But most people are in service of themselves.
Yes, they are. Yes. Why is that?
Why is that? Because I think so much of media is, social media. It's all about self. You know what I mean? It's like you want the pictures to look a certain way because you want people to view you a certain way. And I get, I get all of it. It in the world of it makes sense. But I think when people realize that the greatest thing you can do is serve, then this thing called joy and happiness is not a fleeting emotion. It's not something that shifts you from day to day because you're centered. Your purpose is the compass. Your purpose is the guiding star. And I just think that most people
Right.